Hello guys, welcome back to Technology Moments and to this practice moment session. And as we promised, today we're here bringing to you the experience that we had with the Omada EAP211, this fantastic access point and bridge of what we have already created, a short overview showing you what we got in the box, how to set it up, aspects to highlight, and as usual, our conclusions and recommendations for their implementation. So today, in this very short practice moment, what we did, where we installed it, and the trials that we made, very interesting findings that we had, and a lot of potential for these bridges that even though, like we said last time, they have been in the market for many years, their evolution and functionality has made them more relevant than ever, as you will see in a moment. So as it is usual, what to expect from this video? First, we're going to have a super fast review of our previous video. Second, how to adopt it from the Omada Enterprise Network Controller. Third, how we tested it, what we did, and what we found in the field. And fourth, our conclusions, as usual. Last video we learned that the EAP211 comes pre-configured in case that you're in a hurry and you just need to plug it and use it. Of course, we always recommend to log in locally to each device and set a strong password for the Wi-Fi as well as for that managing SSID that each one of the access points broadcasts, and that is very useful for few clients to connect to both locations where you're going to have your access points at. We also learned that the very convenient 3-port switch that each one of the devices have at the bottom is gonna be extraordinarily useful for many. Also, the fact that they do not only work with PoE injectors makes them very versatile for solar panel-based solutions. These bridges are extraordinarily useful for locations where laying a cable up to 0.62 miles long is not an option, and as we're about to see, even though not absolutely necessary, if you have line of sight, your performance is gonna be outstanding. Okay, so what we decided to do additionally in this video was to adopt the devices from the Omada controller just to show how it works and how convenient it may actually be. In this case, we used a virtual machine to adopt a few devices that we have been using for quite some time, and this is how you're gonna see that the access points are gonna be reported as both have an active link and both are gonna be appearing here as devices that are not managed by this controller. One of the access points is directly wired to the network and the other one is communicating through the wireless bridge. So if you need to manage them both from the network controller, you're gonna want to do that in order. First, you're going to adopt the access point that is wired to the network. This means this access point, the main access point, and then subsequently the downstream access points. Keep in mind that you can connect several client access points to the main access point. And the wide angle that this access point supports will help you deploy this type of scenario, a scenario that may be useful for many. Of course, the bandwidth is going to be evenly distributed for the client access points. As you can see right after clicking Adopt, it'll take just a few moments for changes to take effect, and both access points are going to be appearing as adopted by your network controller, and the one that has this icon is the one that is going to be wirelessly adopted, connected to the main access point. This one is the main access point right here, and this one a client EAP211. We tested the units, and we actually ended up using them before adopting them by the network controller, which was very useful as each one of the access points was able to broadcast its own Wi-Fi network. And like we said last video, once you connect to them and configure them accessing through the web graphical user's interface, that network is going to be consolidated into one SSID, letting you connect a few Wi-Fi clients at both ends. That was also of great use in our testing scenarios. We did several experiments with line of sight, pole mounted above structures from an apartment building. And as I was also testing another bridge from TP-Link, I needed to connect this location, which is in the map located right here, with an apartment over here that in the map is located at this place, and this is the distance. I used both bridges for this situation, but today we're talking about the EAP211. Very soon we will see published the video about the CPE710. Both the devices have great advantages one from the other one. As there is no line of sight between this apartment and the 5th floor of this building that we're seeing right here, I thought that my link was not gonna go up or possible, and even though it was with this EAP211, it was not actually usable in a practical way, so we're not gonna talk about that. It linked, it gave me a good connection, which by the way was incredible as it was at its limits and without line of sight, but not enough for a practical everyday use of a bridge link. So, if you're gonna use these two access points for a bridge at its maximum distance, the ideal scenario, as they do not feature a great antenna nor a deflector dish, is to link them where there is a good line of sight. In this case, there was not. And not only it did not have line of sight, but like I just said, it was also at its limits in terms of distance. You might want to risk the lack of line of sight when you're much closer to the main access point, as you're about to see. So I decided to rotate my access point on the other direction. I grabbed my power inverter, a few accessories, extension cord, patch cord, and my computer, and from this apartment that we're seeing right here, I started moving around in my car to see how far I could go. It was absolutely fantastic. In this experience, I actually enjoyed experimenting with these access points for you. The first thing that I did was to park in front of the condo's entrance. The apartment is behind that structure. I am right here, the main access point is right here, and the access point is not even pointing in my direction. Excellent signal, good bandwidth, no line of sight. That is exactly why I said that is a functionality that is so great. Here in my cell phone connected to such broadcasted SSID of the EAP211 at that same location. Very interesting considering that connecting to that SSID may lower the performance of the bridge itself. If you need a short distance bridge for less than 110 yards, not even line of sight is going to be necessary, and I went even further. This is behind my window, also a question that our followers ask if they work behind windows. Very good link as expected, by the way. Now I'm currently right here, no line of sight, about 200 yards, still very good connection. I moved down the road a little further with a good line of sight right here, of course a good connection. Here my laptop speed, a very good link, more than enough. Of course, all these tests were done with my laptop connected to one of the ports of the EAP switch. Here the connection reported from my cell phone connected to the access point's Wi-Fi. Again, very good. A little further down the road, this is my gear being used, still a very usable speed. I can see right here a few delays starting to show in my continuous ping. I lost connection around here as not only there was not line of sight, but these trees started to be an important obstacle. Here, coming back towards the building, signal again started improving. The threshold of the signal strength indicator, by the way, can be adjusted for your needs. Here you see a full signal and again speed back up. This one, the slowest speed that we got from here. Okay, so what were our conclusions after using this access point thoroughly? One of the disadvantages of using these access points linked to the Omada network controller is that the managing network, that network that we were using to connect to, that by the way would let you connect wireless devices to each end of the bridge, independently from the Wi-Fi SSID of the bridge, is gonna disappear after adopted by the network controller, and you're not going to be able to use it anymore. By the way, this completely makes sense, as if you're going to deploy a wireless bridge in a network oriented for businesses used with a network controller present, for sure that means that you're going to have, as it should be, dedicated Wi-Fi access points for Wi-Fi clients in your network, such as the EAP773 at each one of the locations. On the other side, the great advantage of using the Omada network controller is that you're going to be able to centralize management for your devices and for your network clients, of course. This means also being able to, from one place, update the firmware of all your devices. And also, of course, it'll let you manage many other aspects from one place. Another very interesting fact that we found when deploying these bridges is that you're not going to need line of sight for the link to be established and to be working at a very good rate. This is a question that we are constantly being asked regarding Wi-Fi bridges, which is it mandatory to have line of sight? Well, as you have been able to see, the short answer is no. Our only recommendation is that if you're not going to deploy these devices into a bigger company or business infrastructure, you leave it outside the network controller, as you're going to have a Wi-Fi network available that is so useful for many scenarios. We found a solid device being able to connect one place to several remote locations at very good speeds. A very versatile Wi-Fi network broadcasted by both APs when working in standalone mode and not adopted by the Omada controller. Okay guys, don't forget to write down in the comments your experience or your expectations from wireless bridges. We hope that you enjoyed this video. Thanks for watching it, and we hope it was as useful for you as it was intended. If you want to take action and support us in our effort creating all this content for you, just like this video and subscribe to our channel. See you next time.